Who is Baal? What do we know about the religion surrounding this Canaanite deity? And how did it affect those in the Old Testament? Before we explore what Scripture says about Baal, let's establish a brief depiction of the Canaanite deity. Baal was the title of the god worshipped in ancient Canaan and Phoenicia. The worship of Baal penetrated Jewish religious life during the period of the Judges, became common in Israel during the rule of Ahab, and also influenced Judah. Baal is a Canaanite and Phoenician deity and the son of the chief god El. In artistic depictions and archaeological finds, Baal took the shape of a bull or ram and had associations with fertility. This god also, apparently according to Canaanite lore, defeated El and had associations with the sun and thunder. And of all the foreign gods the Israelites came into contact with, they appeared to struggle the most with worshiping this one. What does the Bible say about Baal? No doubt, we can't cover the breadth of verses on Baal here, but we should note that Baal becomes a big player in the book of Judges, and during the time of the kings when Israel appears to succumb most to the foreign pantheons. For instance, Hezekiah's son rebuilds the shrines of Baal and the Canaanite goddess Asherah that Hezekiah had torn down. He rebuilt the high places his father, Hezekiah, had destroyed. He also erected altars to Baal and made an Asherah pole as Ahab, king of Israel, had done. He bowed down to all the starry hosts and worshipped them. 2 Kings 21:3. One of the most famous instances of Israel going head-to-head with the prophets of Baal comes from 1 Kings 18. In this chapter, the prophet Elijah and the prophets of Baal have a showdown to prove the power of their God and gods. Elijah remains silent during the exchange, whereas God showers a sopping wet altar with fire. All 450 prophets of Baal do not escape the slaughter that takes place after that. In short, Scripture has nothing positive to say about Baal. Most often, it condemns Baal worship. An example of Israel going after Baal leads to their loss of direction and, ultimately, scattering at the hands of the Assyrians and the Babylonians. A brief history of Baal and how it affected the Jewish people. If anyone could get an award for having the worst neighbors, it would most likely go to the ancient Israelites. It seemed they couldn't border a single person who didn't try to destroy them or convince them to worship their own gods. And that happened with the Canaanites and Baal. Archaeological excavations have dated information about Baal back as far as the 2nd millennium BC, and the spread of Baal worship caught fire in Egypt in 1400 BC. But it could have existed long before that, when God established the law, including laws against eating pork, since pig slaughter and sacrifice were a hallmark of Baal worship. Baal worship also included, at times, child sacrifice, which we see some Israelite kings engaging with later on. Despite God's efforts to dissuade them, the Israelites engaged with the Canaanite culture a little too much and adopted their practices, including Baal worship. Even as the Canaanite religion waned, Baal took on a new role as Zeus in the ancient Greek pantheon. Not only do the Jews have to deal with the abomination of Zeus and Antiochus Epiphanes IV, but the Greek pantheon later gets repeated in the Roman pantheon, and practices from both the Greeks and Romans still exist today. Why does this matter? Evil practices never go away. They simply evolve. Baal transformed into Zeus, who transformed into Jupiter. In addition to Baal still influencing religions and pagan practices today, we must take note of what happened to the Israelites and vigilantly watch our churches. How many pagan ideas have we let seep in? What modern-day Baals have we worshipped in place of God? It may seem easy to point the finger at the ancient Israelites and say, "How could you let a bull statue into Israel? How could you worship Baal?" But if we don't exercise extreme discernment, we may find ourselves doing the same with modern-day Baals.
Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Please support us by subscribing, liking and sharing this video. God bless you.